Hello everyone. So I'm making this video for people who are in India, or maybe they are in the UK. And to be honest, this is also applicable to a lot of other countries. But what I wanted to talk about today is freelancing, contracting. Now, I know a lot of people in India are maybe fed up with their jobs, their full-time jobs, although they might be earning decent amount of money, and the work maybe is not really great, or maybe they are just bored and they want to, of course, do something on their own. And freelancing is definitely one option, but I would say uh, that if you are considering becoming a freelancer, maybe you want to leave your job, you maybe want to do something for someone, like as a contractor, what you should do is to set up a company, a private limited or a limited company if you are here in the UK. And there are a lot of advantages of setting up a private limited company or your own limited company, because uh, number one, I don't really have a list to follow, but I can, definitely talk about it. But the most important thing that you should consider in mind is the growth. Now, when you set up a limited company, your own company, instead of accepting money directly in your bank account, is think about what you will be doing in the next 6 months. Now, maybe you have absolutely no plans of growing your company. Even that is fine. But if you are doing something on your own, then most likely you will consider, and you may want to, and most likely you will grow. You maybe you and by the way, growth means that you will do more business, or maybe you will do or basically you will hire more people. Maybe you want to or set up your own, or get a proper office. I know these days working from home is now normal, but irrespective of the definition of growth, when you have your own limited company, then you can always grow. There is always this scope. Instead of doing something on your own as a freelancer where you're getting paid money directly in your account, that is of course fine, but you can do the same thing with a limited company. Now, the thing is, when you have your own company, then you can of course manage the taxes nicely. Now, when you get paid directly in your bank account, then of course, you will pay taxes upfront, I guess, based on your personal income. But if you have your own limited company, then uh, you can of course have more expenses. For example, if you are buying some equipment, or if you are let us say getting services from someone else, then in that case the VAT or GST can be managed. So from taxes point of view, I think limited company is always preferable. And the next benefit is how your potential clients, other companies, will treat you, or the way they will handle business with you. If you are a limited company, then I can guarantee that they will uh, give you a bit more respect. They will take you a bit more seriously. That is how things are. If you are a limited company, then you will be treated like a company. And this happens, of course, this can only happen when you have a limited company, but at the same time, also project your work, whatever you're doing, as a company. And your website should say that, yes, you are a company. And whenever you're dealing with your clients, uh, try to be formal. For example, in the beginning, you will have some initial conversation, but try to put things on paper. For example, work on contracts, work on terms of agreement, whatever you want to call it. Basically, some kind of proposal or a legal document. I mean, there is no legal document, to be honest, or maybe there is a legal document, but the thing is that in most cases, if you write something on paper and if you ask someone to sign it, then basically you're committing it that you will do it. At the same time, the other person or the other company will also expect, uh, or they will also have a similar commitment. So this is something that you can of course do when you have your own personal account. But at the same time, when you do it uh, from your limited company, then people will take you seriously. And uh, of course, there are some disadvantages when you have a company. Setting up a company here, at least here in the UK, is smooth. It is quite quick. But in India, you have to spend some time, and of course, money is of course not really a problem, but you will have to hire eventually to maintain your books a CA. So CA is of course a requirement. You need to basically pay someone to basically do this annual filing, and it is not really a big problem, but there is an expense, and at the same time it is a bit painful. So if you are a director of a company, you have to get digital signature, and it is definitely you have to do it every year, and it is like I mean, because I'm not a CA, and I don't like doing these things. But of course, whenever you have to do it, you have to spend time, and you have to do it perfectly. But at the same time, if you're doing it in the UK, I think up to a certain point, you can do all these things on your own. For example, I use Free Agent here in the UK, which you can use to, or similar softwares, online softwares, which you can use to basically do, if not all, majority of your company management, like accounts and sending invoices, filings, etc. But yeah, overall, I just wanted to say that if you're thinking of leaving your job and doing something on your own, or maybe you're already uh, like about to start, don't do it on your own. Start a company so that you have scope for growth. You can manage your taxes. People will take you seriously, and you will also take yourself seriously because you will be a company, a private limited company. Of course, you don't have to grow beyond a certain point. Maybe you have plans to just do something on your own and maybe hire a few more people. That is totally okay, and I think this is happening quite a lot these days. I know personally a lot of people. In fact, my friends, they have their own business, but they are doing things alone. And whenever you have to hire someone, maybe a full-time employee or a resource who is working part-time, you can of course do that very easily because you're a company, and you can of course whatever you're paying them will be your expense. And again, going back to the same point, managing your expenses. Here in the UK, you can also, if you're working from home, you can also raise expenses. Like if you're working from a room, then you can say that, okay, I use this room for 8 hours, and if I have like my electricity bill of let us say £100, then divided by number of rooms in your house, and then of course also divide that number by, let us say, 3 if you're working one, or if you're spending 1/3 of your time from that particular room. So basically you can actually raise expenses, and it is actually quite useful because to be honest, if you're working from home, you are of course using electricity or internet, so this is always possible. And when you have a private limited company or a limited company, it is much more clear, and the rules are quite straightforward, or at least in the beginning. Eventually, when you grow, like you have like a lot of people working for you, and you have like a turnover, then you can of course hire an accountant to do it properly, which of course you should do. But in the beginning, you can do a lot of these things yourself. For example, for my Indian company, I basically make the balance sheet myself because it is not really difficult. I just send it to my CA, and CA will of course file it. But you need a CA to make sure everything is in the right order. So yeah, that is all. That is all I wanted to quickly talk about. Set up a company. It will be much more beneficial in long term. All right, that is it. Bye bye.